Right. 10 seconds. Right now. Give us a wave, folks.
Excuse me. Can you press the camera on the right?
Yeah. Right, wave again.
Yeah, just do it manually.
The lens cap's on.
Not again.
Okay. Thank you. Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any more?
Thank you.
Right. I sort of come in straight down the hill, over the road.
This is the road.
Yeah, that would have been alright, wouldn't it? Hi, Melvin.
Right then, how are you?
Right.
Chesty thing? It just says very few. Okay.
Hello.
No, well, that's all right.
Okay.
On dust somewhere, I thought. Somebody take them off.
Then you're not anywhere near the buses, and nobody's going to check them.
All right, I can move 3 to 6 out of the way.
Give that a go, but if you like your own, if you've got a 4 single, sometimes it's you still got your land right, you know, you're going to walk the other way.
Alright, yeah, 10 seconds that way, everybody run. Oh, yeah, okay. Which way run?
William, come and be in it.
You told me it's a week before. Sun's coming out. Right, yeah, that's right. Everyone's squint. Attention. Where should I go? Okay, there. Yeah. Okay. Where, Chris? Where are you going?
Just announced last orders.
Who's buying the teams? Have you decided where you want to run? You go over there. I'll go behind. Yeah. It's alright. Come on then. Lift in. Come on. Yeah.
Big old steps, big old buses, isn't they?
Hello, Steve. I've got Eva. I've got Eva. Ow. Ow. Oh. Just see everything I've got back for. So it's
It's about to go, that's why it's...
okay, that's fine, yeah, but it's taking
And you've been involved with this for quite some years. It's the early 1990s I became a member. Well, what's the sort of, what goes in, I suppose, to restoring vehicles like this and why you're involved in it?
An awful lot of effort, physical effort, mental effort, skills. On my own part, I was an engineer anyway, commercial vehicle engineer, that was my trade. But I was always interested in buses, and I was born in Manchester. And although I moved away at 6 years old, nonetheless, Southampton and Winchester buses were always my interest. And when the opportunity comes to get involved with what I'd never heard of, anything else, to help them with their engineering, it's part of my hobby that I was glad to do.
And you know, having been involved with all this restoration, how does it feel to stand here today to see all that?
Yeah, it's great. You know, I can look at the vehicles, a number of the vehicles. I can remember the like of this, I did that, along with others. Initially, I was brought in as a professional to actually get the vehicles up and running for MOT, which was a problem with the old vehicle. I was professionally brought in initially 1 or 2 days. Although the engineer was still required. But then it went on to just be a general using upstage.
And years later, you're still here.
Yeah, I've ended up specialising on the MOT. all our vehicles don't need an MOT technically, they're exempt the MOT regulation, but we take the opinion that we MOT the vehicles so we know they're safe because we're carrying a general public. So I give the vehicles a pre-MOT inspection between myself and Henry and the lads, Richard. We do any repairs that's necessary. Yes, yes.
How important is it that this collection is kept in the way it is and that people like you are here to help restore it?
Yeah, it's my interest. So, yes, I think it is important. I particularly like history. It's not necessarily but it is, yes, it's really interesting. And you still see now, you take buses around, people wave to you, they see you, and people say, oh, I remember these buses, I remember this, I remember that. So, yeah, it's
Thank you.
Well, it was a private, family-owned company, but it ran a municipal service on behalf of the city council. It wasn't a contractual arrangement, it just worked that way. And it did so right the way through from the 1920s through to the 1970s, by which time the world had moved on. At that point, it was subsumed into the National Bus Company. But until that time, it was wholly local, locally owned, locally operated, and all about the city of Winchester. And it was completely unique. It's the most bizarre thing, really. So that it looked to everybody as if these were the buses of the local authority. They carried the statue of King Alfred on the side, proudly emblazoned on the back side panels, and they looked like the municipal company, but they weren't a private firm, which is, so we still have, as our president, friend of buses, the grandson of the founder, Richard Chisholm, who is the grandson of Robert Chisholm, who started the law back just after the First World War.
You, for the last 40 years, have been renovating, restoring, bringing back to life these old vehicles. Why?
That's a very good question, and the answer is because it was there to do. We wanted to keep the identity of King Alfred alive, and we hit upon the idea of providing these buses to run over their old routes so that people could actually sample riding, feel it, smell it, go and ride. We started with a couple of buses, and then we started to acquire more, and the more we had, the better the experience on those days, the more buses run. And so we began to collect everyone that came along, and one after another we found them in different parts of the country first of all, and then we found one in America, and then we found another one in America, later we found one in Ireland, Wales, anywhere that they're working out for buses, we were on the march to get them. And we've now got every single one. There are no others unless someone can tell me any different. It's a long time since we found one extra, if you like. So, and our collection is 16 vehicles. Well, it's 15 vehicles plus one that was involved in a very big and tragic fire last 18 months ago. We're going to rebuild that, so we will be back to 16 vehicles eventually.
And a lot of work goes into it by a lot of people.
It's absolutely all about the volunteers who put all this together. So the buses that are standing behind me have all been put together over the years by our volunteers, with bits of professional help here and there, but in principle it's been our own people working away, and for many years out in the open. For the last 25 or so we've been able to be indoors with this sort of thing, but we've brought things back from complete wrecks, utter ruins really, to operational standard and all out there. And on the way we have a great deal of fun doing it.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Great.
Let's check that stop.
Yes, thanks. How are you? It feels strong, but it actually is.
About 3 weeks ago, Wednesday.
I know you live there.
I am. But this is not a point.
I know that, yeah, I know. House all around.
Correct, yeah.
You see, this is preserved.
You know, the buses here were the lifeblood of Winchester. When it started back in 1920 till 1974, it was working here, and this was really the blood of Winchester. It took people from their destination to home and back. There were not enough cars then, and that's why people use the buses. They laid out the foundation of what today's bus service is. These buses really are the forerunners of what we use. James Freeman, who started all this about 1985, he really restored the two buses first, and then his colleagues and friends started the framework from King Alfred buses. Fantastic venture. It's a charity. And what they've done is immensely great. So you can see about the first bus was 1929, that's been restored, it's operational. And all the buses that survived the passage of time are here. All the King Alfred buses, which is something to be proud of, something to be cherished, something to be absolutely celebrated.
And the guy who owned it said, "You can have it as a gift. You can have it as a gift." Well, if you look, Mr. Mayor, we've got another one next to it, which is its twin.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, we already had that. So I said to him, "Do you know what? Thank you, but I'll think about it."
Right.
Okay. So then we go another year on, and by chance I ring him up. I don't know why. I just rung him up. I said, "Ralph," that was his name. I say, "How's that bus doing?" He said, "Well, I've gone bankrupt, okay, and the whole site was full of buses when I went there. It's all been cleared, and only the Duchess, we call it the Duchess because she never does what we tell her, and is sitting in the corner. And if you ring the real estate agent, they might just let you take it away." So, and he said, if you do, he said, all you have to do is wire me $1,800, and I will fix some wheels, and I will sort it out, and we'll tow it to Baltimore.
All right, okay.
And I always say to people, now, ladies and gentlemen, would you wire $1,800 of your own money to a known bankrupt in a foreign country? So we did. And he was good enough to do what he said he would do, put the wheels on, and then we had to get a crossing of the ferry for this boat. Now, we went to, in those days, it was in 1987 or something like that, we went to the freight forwarders at Southampton. There were 44 of them, okay? And we went to each one, 1, 2, 3, and they all said, double-decker bus? No, can't do that. The 44 was a company called Pell Agencies in Canute Road, and they said, yeah, easy peasy, 4,000 quid, and we'll have it over for you. And so
there you go.
There we are. And so it came back to Britain, and we rebuilt it, and it reappeared on the 1st of January 1989, and it's been here ever since.
Okay, hey,
so there you are.
brilliant.
That's the story. And actually, Mr. Mayor, we won't do this in public, but all these buses have a story like that. Yes. They've all got something to tell in terms of how they came to be here. So they look quite happy, but actually they aren't. they're all people, you know, that have come from somewhere else. And of course, we have one more that isn't here. And this was the bus that we got back from Ireland. And this was a thing called the Leyland Olympic. It was absolutely, unique vehicle dating from 1950, and it was caught up in. We bought it as a wreck, complete wreck from Ireland, and between 2002-ish and 2012, a team led by Ruth there, who's just going to wave at me now. Wave. Yes, thank you. Set to work and reconstructed that bus so that it was absolutely complete and new and looking like this, all lovely, shiny. And in November 2023, it was in a building that unfortunately was involved in a fire.
Oh no!
And all the other buses, there were lots of other buses, not ours, fortunately, in the depot, in the building, were completely destroyed. And our Olympic was very badly damaged, but it was not destroyed. And we have decided that we're going to restore it. And we are just launching today a campaign to raise, we've never done anything like this before, £500,000, Mr. Mayor, to have this bus rebuilt. And I can tell you that it's already gone to an expert in Scotland who is starting to work on it. And he told me last night that at the present rate of progress, he reckons to have a rolling chassis by Christmas 2025. That's this year.
Wow.
So there we are. Really brilliant. So eventually, Mr. Mayor, probably not in your mayoral year, we'll have that bus back here as well.
Yes.
So there you are. Right, now we're going to take the mayor for a bus ride. We take you for a little ride.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah?
Yes.
And then if you survive that, and you're still able to speak at the end of it.
I have survived the bullet card, so this is fine.
So
It's a luxury, this is.
So we'll then just walk you around it.
Please,
all the buses.
Yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to.
So, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like.
Where do you store these buses?
That's the great.
that's quite
Where to
important,
store our buses? That's the great problem. Well, we are very.
Spare shed, have you?
Yes, have you got a spare shed? Yes.
Well, in my garden, yes, a little bit.
You can see it's
a
quite
small bus.
It needs to be quite a big shed.
Yes, I know.
And so we are gypsies. We go from one rented place to another. But we are very fortunate. We have a fine place in Romsey, where in a barn where we can park most of the buses. But we have just sadly lost our workshop. We had a workshop in Chilcombe, which we've rented since 2011, and we've just had 2 months' notice to quit. So we're on the lookout for a workshop somewhere near Winchester. But we don't give up, you know.
No.
So
never say die.
we just find another way around it. So
Sure, that will happen.
He never sees problems, he only sees opportunities.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's the way. Always be positive. Yes.
So what we'd like to do is invite you to come and step onto the Leyland line.
Brilliant.
And then we'll take you for a bit of a ride. We'll bring Mr. Chisnell with us and a few others. Anybody else wants to come with? But, come along.
Thank you. knows that depot is there.
Yes. So that depot that's the opposition.
Oh, I see.
Yes, that's the Hans of Dorset, because we also had the Hans of Dorset. Because nowadays we can't get it. And sometimes we know lots of people aren't getting it.
Couldn't ask for better weather, could we?
Between you and me and the gatepost, it is not a King Alfred bus.
No, we never heard it. We never heard it.
So this, we don't pretend it is. In fairness, this is exactly like that. Mr. Chisnell had two of these, exactly the same. This is called a Leyland Lion, and in 1925 they were the very latest thing. And in 1929, so the model was quite old by this time. They bought two of them, and one of them went every day from the Broadway to London Charing Cross.
Really?
Yes, and back again.
Wow.
In 1929, 1930, and then 1931 they stopped doing it. So imagine when we go along, just think of yourself sitting in this thing, going 8 o'clock and 12:30 at Charing Cross, 5 o'clock back and back at 10 something in the Broadway Gate, and this was the bus that it would be, and maximum speed then was supposed to be 20 miles an hour. So although this will go a bit quicker.
That's right.
Come on. Right. Now, Chris, when you're ready, we can start moving.
So the bus must have seen a lot of history, isn't it?
Yes. So this bus, this actual bus, you know how to do that. Top.
What time were you due at Charing
So this bus actually came from
One of those things, is it?
Yes. Just imagine you're going to London. But so this bus actually lived in Cork. It was built at Brian Dorset. Where they yes, in Leyland. Yes, we built in Leyland. And after the war, it was bought by an engineer, a retired engineer, and his wife. And they stripped all the seats out, and they built a great box on the roof, and they turned it into their home. And it drove along with loading a trailer, big as itself, and for 10 years, it rolled around the country, and they lived in it, and it would be in. We've got a letter addressed to Mr. Whatever the name was. Wandsworth Common. It said the Lion Bus, Wandsworth Common, London.
That's the address.
Yes. So eventually they got rather old, so they parked the bus in a place called Ilchester in Somerset, and for 10 years they lived in it. They kept rid of it. And then they got too old. And ran the side, and it got taken. they found a team, a son and a father. They rebuilt and repeated for about 15 years. They reduced it to just units of metal on the ground, and then rebuilt. Fortunately, he was a carpenter. They found all these metal, and they built it all up. And then they finished. And then about 4 years ago, the father died. He was 70 something, and he died. And his son decided that he didn't want to carry on with it. So they came out and said, who knows of anybody who would like this person, which belongs in the side of England. So we decided that as it's absolutely the same, everything else, that we would have it, but we have it as a green umbrella. Because it's too fun with the people trying to get it out. Yes, lucky, isn't it? Oh yes, yes. And of course we also do things like ticket machines and all the equipment that goes with it. Of the King Alfred motor services. So, yes, and there was a petrol station on the right hand side here, where it goes to King Alfred.
top of the noise and everything all the time.
And the locals are falling in there.
Yes, indeed. Yes.